One of the seven deadly sins of Agile is sloth. And this manifests in a number of different ways with teams, with organizations, with leadership all over the place. One of the most common elements is just not bothering our arse actually doing the things that we say we're going to do. Right? We say we're doing agile, but we don't deliver working product at the end of the sprint. We say we're doing agile. But we have long, convoluted deployment processes which are not in control of the developers. We say we're doing agile, but we don't have an ordered backlog, right? All of these things are places where we say we're doing something, but really we're just kind of lazy and lying through our teeth in order to not have to do the work. Perhaps it's because somebody in leadership in the organization has decided that thou shalt do agile and your product is not particularly suited to that model because it was built in a traditional, maybe it's got mainframe and all kinds of crazy stuff in there. Maybe there are other reasons why it's not viable within the confines, the structure of your organization, the system that you're in. But I would much rather teams and people were honest and transparent with their companies and their organizations about what they can and cannot do, what is and is not agile. I really like, there's a great article called Detecting Agile BS from the US Department of Defense. And if you search for it, you will find a great little workflow on it. It's one of my favorite things that I use in organizations. So here are 6 sloths, things that organizations kind of say they do or pretend that they're agile, but they don't actually do these things. And I think these are great. So first one is, are teams delivering working software to real users every iteration, including the first, and gathering feedback? That's like the first thing. That's almost agile in a nutshell. Are we coming up with ideas, getting those ideas in front of customers and getting that feedback? If you're not doing that, sloth, right? You're not able to get things done. The second one, and because this is Department of Defense, right? Is there a product charter laying down the mission strategic goals, and do all members of the team understand how they contribute, right? That's absolutely key. How can we expect people within the context of our product, of our teams, of our organization to make good decisions about what it is that they need to do if they don't have all the information they need, right? We're hiring smart, clever people, and then we're not empowering them to do the things that they need to do, right? We're just not empowering them. And that's part of, we need to communicate with them. And if you don't communicate with them, sloth. If you don't actually do those things, you're being lazy, right? Just do it. Third one is feedback from users turned into concrete work items on sprint timelines shorter than 1 month, right? So are you getting things in front of your customers at least once per month? And those, that shouldn't be that hard, right? It shouldn't be that hard to engage with your customers, get parts of your product in front of your customers, and then get them to tell you what they think of it, right? Gathering feedback from those users. That shouldn't be that hard. And if you're not doing it, sloth, because it's not that hard. You're just being lazy. One that I already mentioned a little bit is the full ecosystem of your project agile, i.e. agile programming teams followed by linear bureaucratic deployments is a failure, right? Why do you have linear bureaucratic deployments after your agile team have done the work? Yeah, we might be able to make working product in 2 weeks, but how long does it take before that increment, that 2 weeks worth of work, actually gets in front of real users so that you can close those feedback loops? break down those assumptions, validate what it is that you're creating, that it is actually value. And if that's too long, it's not Agile. If you look at the Agile Manifesto, it says ideally a shorter time frame, but only a few months between having an idea and getting it into production. That should be the case. And then the fifth one, are teams empowered to change their requirements based on feedback? The people doing the work should be able to change and adapt the requirements that they're creating in the system, the things that they're building. We want to build more of the right things and less of the wrong things. We want to maximize the amount of work not done. All of those things require the people doing the work to be able to delete, add, or change things from the backlog as needed based on those interactions that we've already talked about with the customer. And if you're not doing that, sloth, right? Why are you not doing that? Why is somebody not addressing the problems of why you can't do that? If your organization is saying, we want to do Agile, yeah, we want to get all the benefits. Oh, but you can't change your requirements. You have to do everything that, here's the 300 things we need you to do. That's fundamentally not Agile. Welcome changing requirements even late in development. These are just fundamental principles of agility. And then the last one on the Department of Defense, not well known for being an Agile organization, but the last one on their list is, are teams empowered to change their process based on what they learn? So not only changing the work that they're doing, but changing the way that they're doing the work. And why aren't your teams empowered to do that? Well, because people more senior can't be bothered with that. They just want to buy Agile from some vendor, install it, and then everybody just does it that way. That's not fundamentally how Agile works. Agile is about the emergent practices, the continuous change, emergence, and adaptation of our processes, practices, and tools in order to be able to maximize the value delivered to the customer, the stakeholder, which may be the business themselves, right? And without those abilities, we can't do that. I feel like these 6 things absolutely epitome? That's not a word. Are sloth, right? If you're not able to do all of these things, you're not really that interested in moving towards agility. You're really not that interested in doing those things. It's lazy, it's inept. Get off your ass and fix it. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through Naked Agility.